Welcome to Absolutely Obsolete, and today we have a small little handheld for you guys. Now, what could it be? Find out today. So here it is. It is the At Games handheld device. Now this is called, also strangely on the front cover, Brain Games. Brain Games Color. Not the most catchiest of names. Now this claims to be 3 great products in one. It plays a Sega game console, doesn't tell you which one, Sudoku, and a chess computer. Now if you're familiar with At Games, then you know that they tend to put a lot of filler in their consoles, such as the Mega Drive, and some of their handheld Mega Drive variants tend to have extra games which have nothing to do with that console. Now what I thought was interesting about this little one here, this one, is the fact, if you can see, it actually plays just mainly Master System games. So we have Sonic Drift, Sonic Spinball, Alex the Kid 2, The Lost Stars, Alex the Kid in High Tech World, and Alex the Kid in Miracle World. A few other notable ones like Columns Mean Bean Machine and Fantasy Zone. Psycho Fox is also in there, and that's a great one as well. But here we are, we've got Hangman, which obviously never came out on any Sega system that I'm aware of, and Sudoku, which I think actually did, but I don't think this is a Sega variant. So what console could this little device be aping? Well, it is actually the Sega Master System. Now that's a bit unusual because normally they tend to ape the Mega Drive, which is the more popular variant. Because the Master System wasn't very popular in America, but Europe lapped it up. They loved it. They absolutely loved it. But here are the games. So we can see here, Fantasy Zone again, Hangman, which again is not, as far as I'm aware, a Master System game. You've actually got Sonic Drift 2, which is pretty cool, if you want to look there. Super Columns, Alex the Kid games, and it's funny that Alex the Kid actually features on this system more than Sonic, even though Sonic, the old boy, is pictured on it. So that's a bit interesting that they've gone for 3 Alex the Kid games and not actually quite a few Sonic 1, Sonic 2 or Sonic Chaos, which is very strange. The only ones they seem to have on here is actually Sonic Drift and what else? Where is the other one? I believe it's Sonic Spinball, and if you count it, it would probably be Dr. Robotnik's Mean Bean Machine, because that's Sonic themed. But yes, so this little thing plays 20 games, 3 which are nothing to do with Sega. The screen is quite clear and bright. See what it says on the side here. It doesn't actually tell you much information apart from the games. It actually says here, Master System and Game Gear. So it actually says Sega Master System and Game Gear games inside, just underneath in tiny writing. So that's not the best way to kind of promote it as a Sega machine, but it says it nonetheless. Anyway, so let's have a good look at the system. Maybe have a good look at a quick game playing or something. So we got Alex the Kid in Miracle World, which is a good one. Maybe that's a good one to start with, I think. Let's try that. So here we go. Alex the Kid in Miracle World. Let's turn it up. Hear that classic Alex the Kid music. Now it's just pretty cool that they actually made a Master System, turn it down a bit, Master System device, because the Mega Drive gets all the glory. Even today, it's pretty much the most popular console of that Sega ever did. But the little Master System, let's see the buttons, and they are punching stuff. Let's get a better look at the colour if we can. There we go, look, there he is. Little Alex jumping away. I'm not really good at playing while I'm looking at the camera at the same time, but as you can see, the screen is sharp. It's nice, it's not too shabby. It's crisp, and to be honest, Master System games are quite old, so they're easy to emulate. So it's really good. I've not had any issues with emulation or anything, so Oh, there you go, I'm dead. Well, yeah, I've not had any issues with emulation or anything, and it works like a little charm, to be honest. It's quite good. But this system does have a small drawback. And I would say the limited number of games that it actually has. It only has, well, 16 decent Sega games, so fairly decent-ish. It doesn't even have any top-tier Sonic the Hedgehog games in it, so that's a bit crap. But if you like your mazy kind of like puzzle game, it's kind of got you covered there with Super Columns and a game called Fantasy Zone The Maze. So that's a bit like Pac-Man, but with the Fantasy Zone character. I think he's called Oopa Oopa. So interesting. I have to say the D-pad is quite nice, kind of almost Game Gear style. Typically these sort of retro handhelds go with a Nintendo D-pad most of the time. Not sure about the layout here. It's kind of like a arcing, kind of like raised button position. It's like there's all this space here and they've decided to go here. The buttons are okay, they're not too shabby. Typical, these feel pretty cheap. D-pad feels okay, but the actual buttons themselves are just pretty average really. C, B and A, so they're your Sega buttons of the 3-button controller. Even though typically Master System games don't really have, well, they don't really have 3 buttons, they're normally 2-button. I suppose one might actually function as a pause button maybe, I'm not sure. But yeah, menu gets you onto menu. Obviously you can choose what game you want. Start, lets you select a game. Confusingly, some games ask you to press start, and when you press start it doesn't actually do anything, because this button can be start. So it depends on the button mapping as well per game, but it's cool. It's got a kind of a Game Boy-esque volume controller there. You've got a headphone jack, which is pretty cool, and a video out, which is even cooler. So this little beauty, I don't think it came with the official ones, but open this up. Here's the manual piece, a SCART to AV cable. So really you could just stick this AV cable, which probably came with it, and somebody threw a nice SCART bit in here for me as well. I think it's a Microsoft Xbox 361. Well, yeah, you can throw that on, stick it on your TV. Not the best quality AV, but you can do that, and you can oh, there's got a manual as well, shows you what the games are, gives you a bit of information, which is kind of cool. So I never noticed that before actually. That's actually quite good. It's kind of maybe what you'd get on the back cover of the actual game itself. But yeah, so you can play this thing on the big screen, and you can play it on the small screen, the handheld screen. So a lot of these typically do that. I've seen a lot of Nintendo knockoff kind of like full of ROM devices with a AV output. Obviously not the best quality, but as you can see, let's try and get that on the camera again. It's quite a nice little handheld actually. It's quite fun. So if you're not big on Sonic the Hedgehog and you just like the Alex Kidd games, then this pretty much has you covered. So yeah, that's pretty cool. My focus has gone crazy. So this has been a small look at the as it likes to call itself, the Brain Games Color, which is secretly, well not even secretly, it says on the front, is basically an AtGames device, which actually plays brilliantly, has really good emulation. Normally the Mega Drive stuff is a bit poor on that, but Master System stuff, I've not really seen any issues or any slowdown, any kind of weird glitches, and yeah, it's a fun little device. A nice white shell, D-pad's okay, button layout's a bit weird. Overall, if you could find this for £5 to £10, and you liked Alex the Kid, and you just wanted to mainly play maybe Alex the Kid or a bit of Columns, you can't really go wrong. Plus you can play on the big TV if your TV is old enough to have an AV out, or well, I should say an AV in. So yeah, if you want to buy one of these, I'm sure you might be able to find one on eBay. They're good, they're cool, it's a cool little device. I'd rather have the Master System myself and play it on the big screen, but for those who just want to play a bit of Columns or Alex the Kid, it is perfect. Right, I've been absolutely obsolete. Cheers. Like, subscribe, ring that notification bell, and keep on gaming. Right, I'm gonna have a cup of tea, and maybe even play a bit of Alex the Kid. See you later.